Hello everyone, this is Dean Kidbut with Vancouver House Sales. Today we're going to be chatting about a very interesting topic. Just like the rest of the topics we touch here at Vancouver House Sales, today it's going to be the HBRP, Home Buyer Rescission Period. So this was put into place in January of 2023. And the reason why they put this into place is to counteract very hot markets where some buyers may have been pushed forward, put under pressure to close on a deal. So essentially the HBRP or cooling off period allows for 3 days to rescind the offer for whatever reason, okay? But the tricky part is that the 3 days must be business days. So this does not include weekends and it does not include statutory holidays. So for example, if you were to get an accepted offer on the Friday, you wouldn't only have 3 days, you'll have the weekend and then 3 business days for that decision to come in, whether you want to use your rescission rights to walk away from the contract. However, you can't walk away from the contract scot-free. If you use your rescission rights, you must pay a 0.25% on that agreed upon purchase price from that accepted offer. So for example, just to round the numbers, if you were to accept as a buyer and the seller agree upon a $1 million deal, and the buyer decides to utilize their HBRP, Home Buyer Rescission Period right, to rescind that offer within 3 business days, that buyer would need to pay the seller $2,500. So again, this is not without consequence. This doesn't take into account offers with subjects. So for example, if you had a set amount of subjects, often some subjects that we use are subject to finance, subject to inspection, subject to receiving ample strata documents, and whatever other subjects can come into play. If, for example, the financing could not pass for this buyer, and we have proof of that from the institution, from the lender, from the mortgage broker, we have to provide proof, then there's no need to use the home buyer rescission period to pull away from that offer. We simply could not meet that subject. Or maybe the property didn't meet the inspection requirement. We did a home inspection, we found, leaks that we didn't know about before. We can't come into agreement with the seller either on remediating those issues, or maybe the issues are too big, the buyer just wants to walk away. Then they are simply not removing subjects and walking away from the deal. They're not using their rescission right. This gets a little bit tricky, however, if you decide to not remove subjects within the home buyer rescission period, because some sellers tend to fight back and say, hey, if you're using that rescission right, then pay me my 0.25%. So it's always best to wait until the end of the subject removal period. Typically, we try to aim for that more than 3 days, so possibly 4-day or 5-day subject at the very least. Oftentimes, we sometimes see 7-day subjects, even for some other deals, 10-day subjects. I know there are some for land assembly opportunities and other things like that that are a little bit larger. We see a couple weeks even for subject removal, but just focusing on residential deals here, 7 to 10 total days, not just business days, for that subject removal. And if you remove past the 3rd day due to subjects, then you won't have to pay, of course, the fee because you're not using your rescission right within those 3 days. And when it comes to new homes or pre-sales, there's another home buyer rescission right that is separate, and that's a 7-day rescission right. So that's for newly built homes or pre-sales. If you have any questions about these home buyer rescission period rights or purchasing a home, subjects, any subject like that, we're gonna have it in our new knowledge database that's gonna be coming out soon. Any other questions, feel free to hit my line. This is Dean Kidbut with Vancouver House Sales, and I'll catch you on the next one.